Hello and welcome students. Today we are going to learn about Asia, climate and vegetation. So before we start with the climate and vegetation, we should know what climate is and what is meant by vegetation. So climate is the condition of atmosphere for a long period of time. For example, India has tropical monsoon climate. So this climate will remain same for a very long time, we can say 30 to 35 years. Natural vegetation consists of the plants that grow naturally in any area, and it is not brought by human being from any other place, nor there is any human interference in growing of these plants. So these are natural, these trees and plants are natural to a particular place. So that is meant by natural vegetation. So climate and vegetation, they have a very deep relationship because vegetation totally depends on climate. So I'll quickly give you an example. Like in deserts, we mostly find xerophytes. Xerophytes are plants that grow in lack of water, means less water. So in deserts, because it's a very dry climate, there is less rainfall, so the condition of deserts are known as arid climatic condition or arid climate. So in arid conditions, xerophytes grow very well. For example, cactus, thorny bushes, shrubs, etc. They can survive in less water, so they grow very well in deserts or arid climate. So children, with this example, we can see how the climate is related to vegetation. So here I mean to say climate and vegetation are totally dependent, and on this note we will continue and we will learn more. So the growth of natural vegetation depends upon climatic condition of a place. Just now I gave you an example of the desert. Now we will pick an example of evergreen forest that grows near the equator. So I'll explain again. So evergreen trees, they grow near the equator because here the temperature is very high and which result in very heavy rainfall. This encourages the growth of very tall and dense trees, and they never shed all their leaves together. So they are known as evergreen trees. So like this, in equatorial climatic region, the temperature is high, that will result in high rainfall, and this will support dense vegetation. So this is how the temperature means the climate and the vegetation of a place is related. Now with this we will learn about the conditions that in which different types of vegetation grow. For example, areas of heavy rainfall, what kind of forests grow? Support tall trees and dense forests. Very dense means trees, they are very tall, a lot of branches, they form a huge canopy, means the coverage of the branches is on a very large area. So example, tropical evergreen forest. Areas of moderate rainfall, they support sparse means less dense, they are not very dense. Vegetation like grasslands and trees are widely scattered, means in a very large area, very few trees are there. Third is the area of low rainfall. They support only shrubs and thorny bushes like in hot and cold desert. In hot deserts as well as in cold desert. Desert mean where there is lack of water, there is lack of vegetation. So in such condition is found in hot deserts as well as in cold deserts. Now students, when we are learning about vegetation, we need to know what is growing season. So growing season is the part of the year during which conditions are favorable for germination of seed and growth of a plant. The length of the growing season depends on temperature. For example, near the equator, the sun's heat is received for a very long time, but near the poles, near the equator, the sun's rays is received for very long time, but near the north pole and south pole, the sun heat received is less, because by the time sun rays reaches the pole, it becomes slanting, and the poles are far also. Equator is close, but the poles are far also comparatively. So what happens? The heat received by the poles are less compared to the equator. This is why near the equator more trees and plants grow, because the growing season is long near the equator, but the growing season is short near the poles. I hope this is clear. Now the growing season becomes shorter with increasing distance from equator. Yes, that is what I explained, that as we move away from the equator, as we are moving away from the equator towards the pole, the growing season will decrease because the heat will decrease, and also with the increase in height above sea level. Now children, we need to understand this. As it's a high mountain, as we will go up, the plants and trees will also become less. As we will go up with a height of a mountain, increase in height of a mountain, the vegetation will also become sparse. So more is the height, the vegetation will become sparse. The vegetation of that region will become lesser and lesser as we will move up with height. This height is only known as altitude. Altitude means area above sea level. Now some plants have long growing season while others have short. Natural vegetation varies with the change in latitude and altitude. So latitude is from equator to pole, and altitude is from low level land to the high level land, that is towards the increasing height. So I hope you have understood the topic of growing season. It's very simple. It's the season when a crop or a plant or a tree grows. Here we will proceed with the climatic and vegetation zones of Asia. So let us quickly read the list. The tundra is the first type of climate and vegetation zone, and it has its typical wildlife, followed by taiga, steppy, desert, cool temperate, warm temperate, tropical monsoon, equatorial, Mediterranean and mountain type of climate and vegetation in Asia. So now we learn them one by one separately about the climate, the vegetation as well as the wildlife. So the first one in the list, tundra, let's learn about it. Location is the northernmost part of Asia. Now we'll see the map, children. This is the map of tundra. So northernmost part of the world, and if we are specifically learning about Asia, so this region is tundra. Very close to the pole, so here the climate, the temperature is very, very low. The climate, it remains frozen throughout the year. Summer rainfall and winter snowfall is less than 25 centimeter. So neither the rainfall nor the snowfall is much, because temperature is very low, evaporation is low, so rainfall is also very low. So if rainfall is low, children, we can easily say that this kind of climate will have very less vegetation. So yes, the word tundra itself means vast treeless land. And you know what is the major type of vegetation? Mosses and lichens. So in the coming slides, I show you the picture of mosses and lichens. They are just like leafy things sticking on the rock. So the vegetation is very, very less because rainfall is less. Now this is the map we have seen. Look at the condition. It's completely frozen throughout the year. Now in the wildlife, the major animals are polar bear, reindeer, Arctic foxes and lemmings. Some birds are also found here, but most of them visit in summer, and in the winter they migrate to warmer place. See, this is the picture showing lichen and mosses. So you can see these are very leaf-like things sticking on the where they get little water, and they grow mostly in summer. They don't even grow in winter, because you know in the tundra region there is a phenomena, and I'll write down. The phenomena is known as permafrost. Permafrost means the land, the subsoil is permanently frozen. So if the soil is frozen, do you think it is possible for plants and trees to grow? So you got your answer. Because of permafrost, the tundra cannot support trees and plants because it is severely cold. Now this is the picture of the vegetation. Now we will see the wild animals. So polar bear is the most common animal found here. Now we will move to the next type of climate and vegetation zone, that is taiga. Where is it located? South of the tundra. and mostly spreading in parts of countries like Russia and parts of Siberia. Rainfall is between 25 to 30 centimeter. Summers are cool and short and winters are bitterly cold, and the land is most of the year covered with snow. Now children, as I said, rainfall is 25 to 50. Do you remember of Tundra? It was less than 25. So we can see as we are moving away from poles, means from poles to equator, the temperature is gradually increasing, resulting in increase in rainfall. See the map. This is the taiga region. Children, if you see, this is taiga. Above the portion which is white, this I told was Tundra. So little below, to the south of Tundra, is the taiga. This region, the temperature is little more. The temperature is low but more than Tundra. The vegetation is less but more than Tundra. And you know what? The rainfall is also less, but the rainfall is more than if we compare with Tundra. So I hope you have understood. See the taiga. If you remember, I told you about permafrost. So here also it's very cold, but coniferous trees are supported in taiga. Taiga doesn't support only mosses and lichens, but it supports coniferous trees. These trees, they have conical tops, so that if snow accumulates over them, because it's very cold and snowfall is there, so if any snow also accumulating on them, they can easily slide down. So the trees have a conical top. So I hope you understood that the trees have acquired such a structure so that they can survive even in cold condition. You know why they need to remove the snow? To facilitate photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the food making process of trees, and if the trees are unable to do photosynthesis, they will die. That's why these trees, which are known as coniferous trees. Children, I think you can remember of a very good example. Yes, you are right. That is our Christmas tree. So Christmas tree is a coniferous tree. Now we come to the climate, vegetation, wildlife. We have learnt about climate of taiga. Let's see the vegetation. Just now you heard about the term coniferous forest, and they are also known as boreal forest or taiga in Russia. Important coniferous trees are larch, pine, spruce and fir. These forests are storehouses of softwood. You know children, coniferous trees give us softwood. The wood is not very hard and it is mostly used to make paper in paper and pulp industry. Now see the picture. This is of taiga vegetation, the climate we have seen. Next is the wildlife. So which are the wild animals? Most of the wild animals are caught and hunted for fur, and the common ones are mink, ermine, sable, lynx, reindeer and so on. So there are several animals found in the taiga region. See the wildlife, the picture. This is the picture of a reindeer, you can see. And next in the list is the steppy climate. Let's proceed. So the location south of taiga. So in the extreme north was Tundra, below that was taiga, and the next is steppy. So steppy climate is found in Central and Western Asia. The climate, cold winters and very warm summers. And you can see the drastic increase in rainfall. Rather, it's almost similar because you know steppy is away from the sea. So therefore, any place which is away from the sea, rainfall is not very high. See, this is the area in Asia which has steppy climate. They are mostly consisting of grasslands. They cannot support tall trees because you just saw rainfall is only between 25 to 50 centimeter. Rainfall is less because this place is away from the sea. Vegetation, rainfall is not enough to support tall trees. So the region is treeless and consists of vast stretches of grassland. Steppes are temperate grassland. Now children, if we see the map, this is a temperate region. So steppes are temperate grasslands. Now temperate grasslands are known by different names in different parts of the world, like steppes in Asia and Europe, prairies in North America, pampas in South America, downs in Australia and veld in Africa. So these are the different names. See, the vegetation is similar. All of them grow in temperate region but in different continents, so their names are different. This is the picture of steppy vegetation. Children, you can see this absence of trees. Only grasses are there, that too short grasses, because they are temperate grasslands. Which are the animals found here? So the wild horses, gazelles and antelopes, these are common animals found in steppy grassland. The number of animals have been greatly reduced. This is because human beings are cutting down the forest, which is the natural habitat, natural home of animal. So the animals have to run away, or they are dying also because they are becoming homeless, and this is the reason the number of animals have decreased in the steppes. So this is the typical antelope. The picture is here. This is a gazelle. The next in the list is mountain climate. So let's see the map first. So the mountain vegetation is found mostly in the mountainous areas. Let's see the extent. The mountainous regions of the continent experience this type of climate. So most of the mountains, we have learned, student, is in the central portion of Asia, that is this region. We had learnt in the chapter physical features that mountain extend like they form an arc. This whole area they extend over. So they form like an arc. That is what I mean. There is an arc formed in this region, and there is a series of mountains. So this area experience mountain climate and mountain vegetation. So the climate changes with altitude. Now children, I'll explain you this. This is a very unique concept, so we need to know this. So what is the idea? That as we move up with increasing height, the climate becomes colder. What happens? When we move up with increase in height, there is a drop in temperature. So this is called lapse rate. You have learned it in the previous classes that lapse rate is when we move up with height, then the temperature drops. That is with the increase in height of 165 meters, there is decrease in 1 degree Celsius temperature. This is called lapse rate or normal lapse rate. So this happens in the mountainous areas of Asia. Let's see more. See this diagram. With the help of this diagram, we can understand how vegetation and the climate changes with increase in height. Now students, just look at this. You will see the lowermost slope of the mountain. This is the lowest portion. Mountain's height is increasing like this. So like this, the height is increasing. So we will see as the height increases, the temperature drops. So what is its effect on the climate and vegetation? So the vegetation in the lowermost layer, you can see, is tropical forest. So quite dense, the vegetation is dense. You can see in the picture that the vegetation consists of tall trees. Now, next in the list is deciduous tree. When we move little further, little above, the trees become deciduous. Earlier it was tropical, evergreen. Now it's deciduous. It doesn't remain green throughout the year. Not as tall as the tropical trees are. Then we proceed further. We find mixed forest. Here you will find both deciduous as well as coniferous trees. Now what are coniferous trees? These trees, the trees, they have conical shape so that if the snow accumulate, it can drop easily, it can slide down easily, and the tree can breathe, can do the process of photosynthesis. So this type of trees are found in very cold areas where the temperature is very low. So there is snowfall and the snow collect over the tree. If the snow will remain, the tree will not be able to do photosynthesis, that is preparing its own food. So the tree has adapted, it has adjusted with the environment, and they have conical tops so that the snow can slide down. So this is, I hope, clear. Let's proceed. As we go further, we don't find mixed forest, we find coniferous forest. Just now I told, you can see children, if I zoom in a little bit, you will see the trees here are having conical shape. Let's proceed. As we go further, we find Tundra type of vegetation. We have learned the first in the list. Tundra vegetation consists of mosses and lichens. There is almost no vegetation, no trees, very few flowering plants in summer, and in winter mosses and lichens are mostly prevalent. Now children, as we proceed further to the highest portion of the mountain where the height is very high, altitude is very high, we will not find any vegetation because the ground, the subsoil is permanently frozen, and here we will find the area completely covered with snow and ice, and we will find here glaciers. So like this children, we have seen in the diagram how the way we went up, the vegetation went on becoming less. The vegetation reduced. We say the vegetation became sparse and the climate also became colder. So this is how height, that is height above sea level, that is altitude, increases, temperature decrease, and also there is reduction in the natural vegetation. So this is the relationship between altitude, climate and vegetation. Now students, we will see in Asia mountain vegetation, the nature with the the temperature drops with increasing altitude, and therefore rainfall is also less as we go up. As we are down in the lower portion, that is the foothill, we call this foothill, the rainfall is heavy, and as we are going above, rainfall also reduces. Therefore the vegetation, it affects the vegetation density. Now what happens? The vegetation becomes sparse with increase in altitude. As the altitude increases, the vegetation becomes less. So this is children about the climate and vegetation of mountainous regions of Asia. So next in the list is tropical monsoon climate and vegetation zones of Asia. So this is the map. In the map, the monsoon type of climate is mentioned here, and this is the region. So this region of Asia experience monsoon type of climate because this is it comes under the influence of the monsoon winds. Monsoon winds blow during summer and bring rainfall. Rather, they also change their direction with the season. That is, in summer they blow in a different direction, and during winter they blow from a different direction. Let's proceed. The extent, Southeastern Asia and most part of Indian subcontinent. Indian subcontinent means India and its few neighboring countries. Now this portion we have just marked in the map. This is the area where tropical monsoon climate is found in Asia, and also the vegetation zone. Now the climate is cool, dry winter, and it has hot, dry summer. So children, if we see the climate of our country, yes, we have cool or cold winters, and dry winter means we don't have rainfall in winter, but we have all the rainfall in summer. It should not be dry, rather it should be wet. Wet summers means rainfall in summer. Now, the rainfall is caused by the summer monsoon winds. So these are the winds, they cause rainfall, and rainfall is over 200 centimeters annually. So the annual rainfall, the average rainfall throughout the year is 200 centimeters. Let's proceed. The natural vegetation consists of mostly deciduous trees. Now children, deciduous trees shed all their leaves in a particular season. So in the rainy season they flourish. Like mango tree is a deciduous tree. So mango tree, when does it bear fruit? Mangoes, we eat mangoes in summer, in the rainy season. So when there is rainfall, this tree will flourish, will give out fruits, but during the autumn it will shed all its leaves. Children, the reason is the tropical monsoon climate receive rainfall only in one season. It does not receive rainfall throughout the year. This is the reason deciduous trees are found here mostly, and at very few places evergreen trees where the rainfall is very heavy. Now the heavy rainfall, wherever it is, there is tropical monsoon forest, and the main trees are teak, sal and sandalwood. Now let us see the other vegetation consisting of bamboos and shrubs. Now the vegetation consists of grasses, bushes and scrub growing in areas of low rainfall. So wherever there is low rainfall, the vegetation is scanty. And mangroves or tidal forests, they grow in the swampy coastal regions. So children, we will discuss further about the mangroves. I will tell you something important about it. In this region also, due to high population, land is being cleared for agriculture and human settlement. So again, the natural vegetation and wildlife is being disturbed due to human interference. So this is mangrove. Children, this is a unique tree that grows in the tidal or forest of Asia. You will see a typical kind of root. These are called breathing roots. Under the surface also there is a root, but the root is also above, because these trees are in the coastal area. So during the day when there is low tide, means the sea water goes back, then roots are exposed. But at night when there is high tide, sea comes inside the forest and the roots go inside the water. So they lack in oxygen. So for survival, they have developed this type of roots, and we call them breathing roots. You can see these are the breathing roots. Let's proceed. So the wildlife consists of leopards, jackals, deer, monkeys, etc., tiger, rhinoceros, and the most unique animal is the Asiatic lion, which is found only in India. Let's proceed. So this is the Asiatic lion. Now next in the list is the Mediterranean climate of Asia. Let's proceed. We'll see the map, a quick look. So where is the Mediterranean type? It is marked with blue. So students, we will see that around the Mediterranean Sea, you can see the color blue is used here. So here is the Mediterranean Sea. Around the Mediterranean Sea and Black Sea, the climatic type is known as Mediterranean climate. Let's see the features quickly. Extent. Southwestern Asia. So this is southwestern part of Asia. Along the Mediterranean Sea and Black Sea, the climate, bright days, hot and the hot, dry summer. And you know why? Because winters are wet here. Winters have rainfall and the summers are dry. Let's see the vegetation. Myrtle is one of the most common plant found here. Apart from myrtle, cedar, oak and olive are also important trees of the region. Let's see the picture. See the colorful myrtle. There are variety of colors of myrtle. In the list is the warm, temperate climate and vegetation zone. Let us see the map. So here in the map you will find this in the last in the list, and it is shown here. So this region is near the sea. This region is to the south of the cool temperate. Children, here this is the cool temperate and this one is the warm temperate. So compared to the cool temperate, warm temperate is far further from the poles. So this region has little higher temperature and little higher rainfall because it is near the sea. So this is the location. Let's proceed. This is the extent eastern part of Asia to the south of the cool temperate region. Climate. The climatic features are warm, wet summers. So summers have rainfall. Wet summers mean rainfall in summer. It's warm. It's not hot because it is in temperate zone. And cool, dry winters. Dry means no rainfall. That's why the winters are dry. This climate is popularly, it is known as temperate climate as well as China type of climate because it is typical to China. And what about the rainfall? It varies from 50 centimeters to 150 centimeter. Mostly rainfall because we have seen wet summers. So most of the rainfall in summer caused by the southeast monsoon winds. So this is the southeast monsoon winds. Let's proceed. So natural vegetation consists of trees like oak, camphor, magnolia. Apart from this, there are other trees also. Now, because of the growing population, the trees are being cut down so that land can be freed for agriculture and other purposes. Therefore, the wild animals are disappearing. They have to go away from that place to find another home for themselves because their natural habitat, their natural surrounding, that is forest, is being cut down. So the wildlife, the most common is giant panda, and this animal is quite famous. This is the picture. Now students, will proceed next in the list, equatorial climate. Extent, let's see in the map. So near the equatorial region, that is near the equator. So this portion, this region of Asia has high temperature, because we know near the equator the temperature is maximum. So high temperature give rise to high rate of evaporation, and this evaporation is more, cloud formation is more, so heavy rainfall. So this is the relationship between temperature, evaporation and rainfall. So this is why this equatorial portion receive maximum rainfall and very hot and humid. Temperature is high, moisture is high. See, the extent southernmost part of Asia around the equator, hot and wet throughout the year, and rainfall is above 300 centimeters. So rainfall is heavy. Children, the rainfall is very heavy, so it can support tall and dense evergreen trees. These trees never shed all their leaves together. They are always green throughout the year. Those trees are rosewood, ebony and mahogany. They are commercially very important, means they are very valuable in the market because they are durable. Now, the rubber grows naturally. See, rubber is usually a plantation crop. It doesn't grow naturally, but in this portion of Asia, in the equatorial climatic region of Asia, rubber grows naturally. Apart from rubber, the plantation crops are coffee and cocoa. Now, what do you mean by plantation crops? The crops that doesn't grow naturally, but they are brought from somewhere else so that they can be grown and a lot of profit can be earned. Now, to understand this, see, rubber is it's a plantation crop. The latex, the liquid, you can see the liquid inside oozing out, coming out, and is getting collected in the vessel. So this liquid is actually very valuable. This liquid is collected and then it is processed in the industry to make rubber. So that's why this gives us profit, and we call it plantation crop or cash crop. Now, mahogany. Mahogany is the tree I told you just now. It's an evergreen tree. You can see how tall it is. The trees here are very tall because temperature is high and it supports heavy rainfall. Very heavy rainfall, very dense vegetation. Less rainfall, scanty or very less vegetation. Now, this is cocoa. Now, cocoa actually is a fruit. Actually is the seed inside it. This is called cacao. Cacao tree has cacao pod, P-O-D is the spelling. So pod means fruit. So this fruit has seeds. The seeds are taken out, dried and processed to make variety of product. I am sure children you have heard of cocoa body lotion. So what is this cocoa? It is actually the seed which is in the cacao pod. It is processed and variety of products are made. Even a cocoa drink is made, which is like a tea. Now, wildlife. So these are the common wildlife. You will see something unique about orangutan and gibbons. So the apes are orangutan and gibbons. So these are common animals in the equatorial part of Asia. So students, this was all in this module. If you like the content, subscribe the channel so that you can get all the videos which I post related to the topic. Thank you.